1,200 lawyers advising on business disputes, transactions, financings, and regulatory issues while building relationships based on trust and collaboration. Online at shepherd.com.
Next hour on Morning Edition, you may know this song. But it's far less likely that you know this one. The band Squeeze is unearthing its earliest attempts at songwriting for their new album, Trixies. You'll hear all about it next on Morning Edition from NPR and WNYC.
Topping up your gas tank? Brace yourself.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by GEP. With GEP Key, Agentic AI, and GEP Smart Software, GEP is at the forefront in agentic procurement orchestration and autonomous supply chains.
From Marketplace, I'm Nancy Marshall-Genzer in for David Brancaccio. War in the Middle East has caused oil prices to spike, and right on cue, gas prices have also risen. They're up 34 cents in a week, according to AAA. It's the fastest price increase at the pump since the start of Russia's war on Ukraine back in 2022. Marketplace's Nova Safo has more.
The average price for a gallon of unleaded gas is now $3.32, according to AAA. A week ago, the average was below $3 and had barely budged for weeks. Consumers tend to be sensitive to moves in energy and food prices. The White House says it's checking with oil and gas CEOs about possible countermeasures. But President Trump appears so far undeterred by prices at the pump, telling Reuters in an interview, quote, "If they rise, they rise." The president said he expects prices to drop again once the Middle East conflict subsides, and he was not planning to tap the country's strategic petroleum reserve, which is currently 57% full. Generally, analysts agree that the inflationary impact from the war should be temporary, but only if it's short-lived. I'm Nova Safo for Marketplace.
In addition to higher prices for regular gas, there's also this. Diesel fuel topped $4 a gallon this week for the first time in almost 2 years. It's likely to get even more expensive. And as Marketplace's Kaylee Wells reports, even if you don't drive a diesel truck, this price spike is going to hit you.
Diesel's price is spiking way higher than crude oil's. Morgan Bazilian at the Colorado School of Mines says that's because
that crude oil that comes from the Middle East is a little easier to get gasoline and diesel from than other types of oil.
The U.S. uses diesel primarily for manufacturing and freight, so
prices will go up for moving anything.
Bazilian says prices for airline tickets will go up almost immediately. The price of jet fuel is spiking too. Whether the price of other goods goes up depends on where you get them from. Hugh Daigle teaches petroleum engineering at UT Austin.
If you buy something from Amazon, say, because they're big, they have negotiated shipping rates with UPS, the U.S. Postal Service.
Daigle says those shippers will eat the extra diesel costs till they renegotiate, which could be months from now.
What's really going to be affected is if you're just mailing something to somebody else or buying something from a small mom and pop business or something like that.
Just how much those prices go up? Tough to say. If Iran completely stops shipping traffic in the Strait of Hormuz, it could be a lot. I'm Kaylee Wells for Marketplace.
And let's do the numbers. The FTSE in London is down around 0.5%. The Dow, S&P, and NASDAQ futures are all down in the 4 to 0.7% range, with the Dow future down more than 200 points. The 10-year Treasury is down at 4.18%.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Barron's Investor Circle, offering stock picks, market insights, and access to the Barron's editors behind a century of reporting at barrons.com/investor circle. And by Bison Managed 401k, active advisor management for 401k accounts. The calculator is at powermy401k.com.
Over the past 5 years, millions of people moved to Sunbelt metro areas in states like Florida, Arizona, and Texas. They were chasing jobs and affordability. While much of that migration happened during and after the pandemic, construction lagged in one very critical sector, grocery stores. Now, southern cities are seeing a flurry of supermarket construction. One of the most active areas is Dallas-Fort Worth, where dozens of new stores are in the works, as Marketplace's Elizabeth Troval reports.
Traffic zooms by on Highway 287 from the parking lot of a brand new Kroger grocery store, about the size of 2 football fields. It's windy, and Yumaira Funes is wheeling her groceries to her car. She came in for water, but ended up with a cart full. Broccoli, eggs, stuff for her dog.
You walk through the aisles, you're like, oh, I might need this. You know, you come in for one thing and you always come out with more.
Since this store opened in October, it's become her supermarket of choice.
Well, because it's closer to my home. I live over here like a mile away. This Kroger here, the new one on Bond Ranch, I like it because the aisles are big.
She moved from up north to Fort Worth about a decade ago. Newcomers like her have spurred new supermarket construction in Texas, especially in Dallas-Fort Worth. Inside what might be the largest Kroger I've ever seen, I talk with Bob Young, who helped develop this Kroger for real estate firm Weitzman. He turns wide open spaces into supermarkets that anchor new neighborhoods.
What does make a neighborhood? What makes a community? Somebody takes a risk. They get a house. They improve a road. Then they get an anchor.
The rule is retail follows rooftops. But Young says grocery store construction has been lagging. That's because pre-pandemic, grocers were focused on improving store technology. Then COVID hit.
But it was a catalyst for rethinking and cleaning up bad real estate and bad customer treatment. So now, where are we? Demand has not stopped in North Texas.
Grocers like H Mart, H-E-B, and Costco are building to meet that pent-up demand. He estimates 34 new stores will open over the next 2 years in Dallas-Fort Worth.
Fort Worth is truly having a moment in terms of our growth. We've just crested 1 million people.
Fort Worth Chamber of Commerce CEO Steve Montgomery says it's nice to see all this new development in his hometown, which has become the 11th largest city in the country. And unlike many major cities,
we have a lot of undeveloped land.
4 giant new grocery stores. But will the growth last?
In prior years, you saw maybe higher migration, domestic migration to Texas, and you're starting to see that level out a bit.
Federal immigration policies are also capping growth. Perhaps a slowdown could allow for construction, supermarket or otherwise, to catch up. Montgomery says infrastructure is a pain point. And Kroger shopper Yumaira Funes agrees. While she was pleased with the store, she was not so hot on all the new traffic.
287, the roundabouts it's a nightmare.
But what's a growth spurt without some growing pains? In Fort Worth, Texas, I'm Elizabeth Troval for Marketplace.
And in Washington, I'm Nancy Marshall-Genzer with the Marketplace Morning Report. From APM, American Public Media.